Let's start today on our knees, starting with a narrow child's pose and saying hello to my dog. That's Cairo. He's almost 17. He'll make a few appearances today. So just start with the narrow child's pose, just starting to loosen up the low back a little bit. Breathing deeply into that area. And relaxing the forehead down to the ground. We'll widen our knees apart into a wide-legged child's pose, pressing the chest towards the ground. And isolating the shoulders. To get a little bit deeper into the shoulders, you can place your chin onto your hands while still pressing your chest towards the mat. Sliding the chest forward, we'll come into a puppy pose. And you can try the same thing by placing your chin into your hands and looking up. Really lengthening through the neck and looking up by pressing your chin up with your palms. And slowly coming up into a tabletop, we'll take a couple of cat and cows, breathing in as you look up and breathing out as you round forward. Really getting into every area here, taking the time to find every space in your spine. Going faster or slower where it feels good, side to side or forward and back. Doing a little snake dance with the spine. And we'll come right back down into a puppy pose. And down into a sphinx. From sphinx you'll push up into an upward dog. Looking over one shoulder and then the other. And playing around with the position here. Maybe playing with the feet, looking up, lifting the hips up and down. And sending the hips right back and all the way up. And again, making those rolls through the spine. Hi, Cairo. He doesn't want to stretch. So making those deeper rolls with the spine by sending the hips all the way back. And coming right back down into puppy pose. Maybe trying to push a little bit further with the hands. Or coming into a normal puppy pose. So coming to tabletop, you're going to lift one arm and thread the needle by placing the shoulder onto the mat and twisting up. You can take a bind here if you like. And right back up to the other side. Lifting that arm, thread the needle, and take a bind. Coming back through puppy pose. Press the chest down and send it right back into Sphinx pose. Pressing it up and releasing. Press up and come all the way up into an upward dog. and slowly sending the hips back. Feeling a little looser now. So grabbing a strap or a towel, you're going to bring it to sort of a medium resistance and making some circles with the shoulders. Working your way into making it a little bit tighter. And just very slowly making those wide circles with the shoulders. And try it again without the strap. And just really actively stretching through those upper back muscles. Using the strength of those muscles to send your hands all the way back. Draw some circles with the hands to allow the rib cage to rotate in a circle. And pressing as far back as you can towards the back wall. Interlace the hands behind the back in a reverse prayer position. And looking up. Really opening up through the chest. So attempting to interlace your hands behind your shoulders. If you can't do it as easily, maybe just try it with a strap. But if it is a little bit easier, work to lift the hands away from the back. That'll make it a little bit harder. Now I'm going to use a table here, but you can use anything you like. A chair, a couch. It might be a little easier with something softer. You're doing a puppy pose by placing your hands elevated on your chair or your table and sending the chest all the way to the ground. Sort of like a extra stretchy puppy pose. Trying it on your elbows too. Might be beneficial to have something a little softer. But really, really pressing into those shoulders and looking up with the neck. Stay there for a pretty long time, as long as you need to allow those muscles to open up in their own time. And take some circles with the neck just to release any tension you may have created there. So we'll come into our first back bend today, which will be a camel pose. You're pressing your pelvis forward, grabbing those ankles, extending up through the chest before looking back. Extending upwards and forwards with the pelvis. If it feels alright, you can release the ankles down to the ground while still making those movements with the pelvis. If it feels a little tight in the lower back, you can bring your hands to your low back and press the pelvis forward. Might feel a little bit easier with some support. And slowly bringing it right back down. We're going to go ahead and do that again. So coming back up onto your knees and taking that camel pose. Breathe deeply in these ones. Back bends can tend to be a little hard on the breath. So coming right back up, we're going to try again. Maybe you can keep your hands away from your low back, maybe even bend them all the way back to the mat. Pressing away from the mat with your hands. And maybe bending your elbows to come into a full camel pose. I think it's called like Ika Padakapasana, I think. Something like that. Maybe try to deepen it even further, pressing away from the mat and playing with the spine a little bit. Take one last little bend there and come right back up. And we'll take a rest in child's pose. Catch your breath there. I'm going to grab my strap again and interlace it around my ankles while I'm still on my knees. I'm going to do a little bit of another shoulder opener here. So rotating the shoulder to continue holding that strap overhead. You're going to use it to open up the upper back even further, allowing it to force your shoulders open. Looking up, maybe trying just one and then the other, or doing both shoulders at the same time. Press the chest forward while your elbow is bending backwards. Just going as far as you can. And you can do this without the strap too if you like, if it is maybe a little too much resistance. You can try with that active stretch, but to strengthen those muscles, it can be beneficial to have a resistance band. All right, and well, let's prepare for our first bridge. So to get into the bridge, you'll place one hand behind your back, slightly turned inward, and the other one will sweep overhead as you lift up. And as that hand reaches the ground, the bent hand will straighten out until you're in your bridge. That can take a little bit of practice, so maybe watch that a couple times. When you're comfy, try straightening your legs, pressing away from the ground with your shoulders. And try doing the exact same thing on your elbows. And here's where you can try any little funky variation you like. Just trying to get into those cool, fun poses. Never know until you try. And gently and with control, coming back down and grabbing those knees, taking some rocks in the lower back, and relaxing into a reclined goddess pose. Here's where you could take any other back bends that you have in your practice, or just relax and catch your breath. Either way, great job, and thank you so much for joining me. Bye.